Mary.
And I'm
Be invited to press a like,
share,
subscribe,
and comment
down below, y'all. Today we are going to be talking about episodes 1 to 3 for Love is Blind, you all.
Woo!
It is a new season, you guys, of Love in the Pods. And this season is proving to be quite interesting and drama-filled.
Yes.
I mean, I guess, do we just go ahead and talk about the couples individually?
Yes.
It seemed like there was a total of 5 couples that got engaged. We're going to talk about the engagement, then we're going to talk about the drama in Mexico on another video.
Yeah.
But it ended up being like 5 couples that got engaged. I believe that it was Micah and Paul. It was Zach and...
Micah and Paul. Yes, okay.
Micah and Paul. It was Zach and Irina. It was Brett and Tiffany. And it was Brett and Tiffany. Who else was it? Kwame and Chelsea. And there was another couple. Marshall and Jacqueline.
Yeah.
But
then there were some triangles. So the triangles were what?
It was
Kwame,
Micah, and then Chelsea. And then it was Jacqueline, Josh, Marshall.
Yeah.
And then the other love triangle was Zach, Bliss, and Irina.
Right. And then how about Micah? Micah was Paul and Kwame.
Micah, Paul, and Kwame.
Yeah, Micah liked Paul and Kwame.
Yeah.
Kwame liked Micah and Chelsea.
Yeah, and then Paul liked Micah, and then he also liked Amber.
Yes.
But yeah, I guess let's talk about the love triangle drama. I guess we're going to talk about Kwame, Chelsea, and Micah.
Mm-hmm.
You know, from the beginning,
Chelsea made her decision already. She wanted Kwame.
That's who she wanted.
Very early, yes.
Kwame actually had already decided. He wanted Micah. But Micah was like this. That's what it seemed like to me.
Yes.
And she still looks confused, even though she has now chosen Paul.
Yeah. And she seemed confused then because it was like Kwame was, saying, well, Kwame told her, and he seemed as though he was getting ready to break up with her. Because he tells her that what
Chelsea
I'm getting
validates
from
me.
Exactly. Chelsea validates me. She lets me know how she's feeling and what's going on with her, how she's feeling like, towards me. Whereas you, I feel like you're unsure.
Yeah.
So
and you don't verbalize it.
Right. And so Micah all of a sudden does this thing of I don't think she knew what she really wanted.
I don't think so.
But at the same time, I feel as though she and Irina are these kind of young women who are kind of competitive.
Yeah.
And instead of them going for what's good for them, they just don't want to lose.
Yeah.
To another woman. And that's how I felt with Micah.
I mean, they're the ones who are the most miserable in their relationships.
Yes. And that's what I felt. Like all of a sudden, she's like, well, I mean, I'm really seeing like you, married to you and all of this stuff. So all of a sudden she starts verbalizing all this stuff. And so Kwame, that's all he had wanted. So he's like, okay, that's what we're doing then. Okay.
I want to engage you early.
Yeah, he's like, I'll go ahead and engage you and all this stuff. So Micah, and the reason why it even went that way, remember Chelsea came into the room and she was all talking about Kwame.
Right.
And how, things are going very well and all that stuff. Micah goes now. Kwame sees that, hey, Chelsea was right. Kwame is going her way. And then all of a sudden kind of woos him back. And he goes for it because really he wanted Micah to begin with.
Right.
So now Micah talks to Paul. Now Paul wanted Amber also.
Right.
But Micah is talking to Paul. And I actually, before she spoke to Kwame, she had spoken to Paul.
Yeah.
And, Paul was really feeling Amber. And Micah also knew this. So she spoke to Paul. And Paul said, look, if we're going to do this, then I am going to go ahead and let Amber know.
Well, I think the reason why Paul even decided to make a choice, it seemed like he was leaning more towards Amber.
He was.
Amber said some very weird stuff, which he asked her a moral question.
Exactly.
Because she has been married twice.
Divorced twice.
Right. Divorced twice. And basically he had asked her, would you, he asked her some question about cheating or whatever stuff.
Because she brought it up. He said, why did they break up? And she said the last husband cheated on her.
Mm-hmm.
And so he asked her, would you cheat on, if you're married?
And she said, well, I mean, if I had stayed, yeah, it probably would have
she
let
said
down.
yes.
She said, yeah, she would have
Right
cheated.
away, she said yes.
Because
and,
I was
maybe I should have.
unhappy.
Right.
Because she was unhappy. So she said if she had stayed, she would have felt like it would have gotten to that point because she was unhappy.
Right.
To him, he was like, that's a red flag. Because, I mean, basically
Yes.
you're saying if you're unhappy, you're going to go cheat
You're
in
gonna
a
cheat.
marriage. Which doesn't make sense. If
And-
you're unhappy, you go communicate it like a normal person would.
Exactly.
You don't go and say, "Oh, I'm unhappy. Let me go cheat and make my marriage even worse."
Yeah. And then the other thing too is it shows your value system.
Yeah.
You know, because I mean, someone asked me if I'm going to cheat. The answer is no.
Like no.
I don't cheat.
There's no excuse for it.
I don't cheat at all.
Yeah.
I will leave a relationship, and then I can move on.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to cheat on a relationship. So then he says it's a red flag, and then it's like, well,
She
why
gaslights
do you
him.
think? Yeah, why do you think it's a red flag? So he explains to her why it's a red flag, and then she gaslights him, like, you know, well, now you make me feel bad and stupid and this and that.
And you should feel bad for making me feel anxious and
Yeah.
stupid or whatever.
And he was just like, and then it's like, so he was like, okay, so he kind of backed off. But I think the fact that, one, your value seems, I don't know what kind of values you
Shaky.
have. Then on top of that, you're gaslighting me for telling you that's a red flag, which it should be a red flag to any sane person.
Mhm.
Okay? So I think he saw her in another light. I was like, So right
Yeah.
away he lets Micah know, look, if I'm going to do this with Amber, he kind of let her insinuate it, you got to do your part. But yeah, I have no problem with that.
Yeah.
And then it'll just be us. So once he says that now to Micah, now Micah is in this dilemma like, uh-oh.
Because you had just said you wanted to marry Kwame. Now it's like the next time you see Kwame, you're breaking up with him. It's kind of like
I think he was getting ready to propose.
he
too when
was.
came
It was like
in.
whiplash.
And he was all like excited. And then she's like, I think we need to explore other connections.
And he's like, yeah, sure, okay, fine, that's great. Then he starts crying
Oh, man.
with the shoulder bounce. I'm just like, yeah, okay.
He was sobbing.
I was like,
He
stand
was
up, stand up.
sobbing.
It was embarrassing.
And then by this time, right, Paul and Micah have decided to be together. And Paul comes in the room.
And Kwame looking at him like he could just kill that man with just one look.
Because I think all the while Paul was there, I don't think he had really told Kwame
I don't think we saw
straight
it
up,
though.
like, I am really feeling Micah.
But
So I don't
he
think Kwame
suspected, though.
realized that he had a true rival. I don't think he realized that.
I think he suspected though because the way he was mean mugging him, I was like, well, no, he doesn't know. He doesn't know. I was like, there's no way because I'm not mean mugging somebody that I don't even suspect is my competition.
And Kwame standing over Paul, and Paul like, let me stand up too because I don't know what is going on. You know, but Kwame felt like Paul was the villain in
his story.
I was like,
Because
okay.
Kwame, because Paul was talking about how, you know, it's a shame when it's like you're the villain. Because it's like you're causing someone else pain. But so it's kind of like, are you really the villain? Because it's kind of like indirectly, but yes, directly. But then Kwame was like, well, let me tell you this, you know, because it's kind of like, you know, you could also be the villain in someone else's story indirectly too. You know, he's talking about being the villain, but he was the villain in my story. As he looks off into the camera, as one tear comes down, he's like, it was embarrassing.
It was
I was
embarrassing.
like,
So
okay.
now Micah and Paul
Are together.
And then Paul has to tell Amber
Yeah.
it's over. And
She's
of
like,
course,
F
the
you,
person-
Paul. F you.
But I really did think, after that whole, I was really feeling Amber because she seemed to be the plus size person there. But
My thing
after
is-
that whole cheating stuff, I was like, and then remember what she tells Paul, I mean, I wouldn't cheat on you though.
How? You've only known me for 6 days.
I know.
Like, what?
But will you cheat on me when we've known each other for longer and I'm your husband though?
Because my thing is, I feel like, you know, we were talking about this. You know, women, we have to be so careful. Sometimes what we say.
I
Like,
know.
we want people to love us unconditionally for flaws and all. Personally, I don't think that's really realistic.
No.
To be honest. And I feel like sometimes you just, like, you should not be sitting down there in a marriage pooping in front of your husband and then
Doing all this
spitting
stuff.
and doing the
All
whole
kinds of
toothbrush
gross
and then
stuff, yeah.
waxing and showing him your hairs. Like, you wouldn't do that to a friend.
No.
So why would you sit down here and tell somebody that you are just getting to know that
Yeah.
you believe in cheating if you're unhappy?
But,
Like,
but
so,
it's
even
not
if
going to
that's
be
what
on
you
you
believe,
though.
why would you say that?
But you're so special to me. I've known you for 2 days. It wouldn't be on you though.
It don't make sense.
It's kind of asking
can't tell
someone,
people
will
everything.
you steal? Will you go steal?
Yeah,
Well,
I mean, if I was poor, yeah, I'll go steal. Would you become a stripper if you have no money and you need to?
Right away,
Yeah,
I'll
of course.
do that.
I'll be on that pole swinging with a thong.
Or will you go be a prostitute? Yeah.
Right?
Yes, I'll go do that.
Because then it makes you think, well, where's your faith? You know, what about getting a regular 9 to 5? You know, it just makes you think about
this particular person.
Right? So, and she shot herself in the foot with that one. I was just like, girl.
Because I think up until that point, he was really feeling her.
I was like, girl, you thought you had a friend? You thought you had a friend?
Okay.
But Tiffany and Brett, let's talk about them quickly.
Tiffany and Brett, yeah.
To me, it seemed like Brett was talking about his brother. I mean, Tiffany and Brett, it seemed like they were connecting. It seemed like it was really good.
I thought it was really good.
To me, it seemed like he was kind of making excuses for why he didn't want to be with her, because it seemed like she was going to have to start mamming this grown man.
Or when he started going into, but that story about him, the brother was so sad.
No, of course, it was very, very sad.
You know where I thought he was going with that? I thought that he was going with, my brother was with a girl for 10 years. Kind of like he could have married her earlier. Because that's a whole 10 years.
I mean, that's what I was thinking. I was thinking 10 years.
And I think that's what he was thinking too. And so that's why he was trying to explain to her, like, probably maybe until that happened, maybe I will not have been getting married now. But the fact that he was with a girl for 10 years and they were getting ready now to get married finally, when the brother was in a car accident or something?
Yeah, he was in a car accident.
And he died. So instead of going to a wedding, the family was not going to a funeral. And so that's what he was saying. So I think for him, because he says, we just can't take the time we have for granted.
Right.
You know, and then girlfriend was asleep, which was shocking to me. How do you sleep in a story like that?
Well, it wasn't during
the attention.
Well, it wasn't even during the story that she fell asleep. She fell asleep. She had just told you, I love you. You start going on some whole spiel about how she's special. Completely avoid telling her that you love her too. So my thing is, you're going like
so she
this
fell asleep
about
before he told her the story.
No, he had already told her the story. She was crying. She didn't fall asleep during the story.
Okay.
This was the next time they had seen each other, I believe. And she told him, you know, Brett, I love you, right? Mm-hmm. And then he was like, wow. Like, he didn't say anything. Okay. Like, but then it's like he starts going around the posy or whatever, talking about how you're a special person. He doesn't say I love you. He doesn't say I really like you. None of that. He just starts telling this little story about how, you know, oh, I'm scared or I'm fearful about this love or whatever the case may have been. So and she fell asleep. So, I mean, I just told you I fell asleep. Maybe, listen, whenever I'm going through a traumatic situation, I fall asleep. That's what happens to me. So I'm sure, like, when she was going through the trauma of, like, well, you know, I just told him I love him. I've opened up, I'm vulnerable, and you're here telling me some story about how you're feeling like you don't know about love. So I'm just going to knock out real quick because I don't know what's happening. Not saying that is right, but I'm just saying, you know, that can happen. Some people just fall asleep from trauma. I remember when we were coming on the plane from America to Africa, right? Yeah. I just fell asleep. I didn't think I could sleep that much, but we were in this cramped little space. And I was like, I'm just gonna go to bed.
The whole entire time, it was it was. I was like, wow. You know, the sleep of the young without a care in the world. And you know, when I went with your brother to the UAE, you know, to Abu Dhabi,
without
was
me,
the same thing. He fell asleep for the 12 hours straight. He didn't even go to the bathroom. So I think, you know, maybe you guys are like, okay.
Maybe that's why she fell asleep.
Yeah.
But then for me, the reason why I felt like he was making excuses because after that he was like, you know, she wasn't even there. I'm done. So I'm like, why?
Shutting it down. I was like,
immediately. So I was just like, maybe it seemed like he's making excuses because he doesn't actually really want to be with her. I was shocked when he said yes.
He went to propose.
I was shocked actually because I didn't think so. Because he was crying about how, oh, I'm scared of this love and da-da. I was like, oh, God, if you don't want to be with her, then just say it. But don't be sitting down here crying.
Brett.
I don't either.
That moving forward, I just don't.
There's something off.
Something off.
Because my thing is like, it just seemed like he was using his pain as an excuse for why he was going to be the way he is. You know what I'm saying? My brother went through this, so I'm scared of love. Like, that's what he was telling the guys.
I was thinking, okay, your brother went through this. That's why now you're going to quickly get married to someone.
Right. That's what I was thinking.
But you don't. but there's just something off, like you said.
There
Like,
is something
with him,
off.
I'm just like,
Got my one eye on you.
yeah, I got my one eye on you because she's such a sweetie,
Yeah.
Tiffany. She's
And I
such a
mean,
good
you don't
sweetie.
want her to have to mammy some grown man
Yeah.
either. Like, who
You
wants
want
to deal
someone
with
who's gonna
that?
be there for her,
Yeah.
you know. Yeah.
But let's talk, I guess, about Zach and Irina. Irina, for me, I was
And
kind of
he had
shocked that he
someone
chose
else.
Irina over
Oh, he had
Bliss.
Bliss. Yes, he had Bliss and Irina. Yes.
To me, it seems like Irina and Micah are obviously mean girls,
Yeah,
right?
that's, mhm.
And then it also seems like they are also the two who are both the most miserable. But it also seems
and
like
very
they are
competitive too.
very competitive, but also seems like they would be the type to emotionally abuse their partners.
Yes.
Which is kind of what Irina's
It was
already doing to
gaslighting.
Zach.
Yeah.
Because she was already like, she's already been a mean girl. And like, you
Mhm.
actually aren't cute, like, at all to be acting
Yeah.
this way.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Because
saying?
usually the mean girls are usually cute, right?
Yeah.
But she's not at all.
Like, at all.
I'm telling you honestly, I thought this woman was trans.
You know, I was thinking it too.
I actually thought she was trans, like she was having the hormones and all that stuff. That's what I honestly thought.
Yeah.
I actually thought she was trans. I thought she had a wig on her head. But then she did say that she had a lot of acne.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, she had a lot of acne.
But I actually thought that maybe she had been overweight before and that she had lost a lot of weight or something. I thought that she had gone
you
through
know
some type of
something?
surgery. I didn't know if it was a
That
trans
could
surgery or
also
if it
be
was
the
a weight
case.
loss.
Actually, that could also be the case.
I thought it was
Come to
either
think
or.
of
I
it.
thought it was either weight loss surgery she had done, or I thought it was maybe she was transitioning. It was
Yeah.
either one of the two because I saw a lot of really saggy skin and a lot of
Yeah.
wrinkles on her arms, and I was
Yeah.
just like, it seemed like she had
That
gained
is
a lot
so
of weight
true. That is so
and then
true.
lost a bunch, and then she had to get rid of the skin.
Ah,
That's what it
maybe-
seemed like, 'cause
well,
there was a
maybe
lot
that's
of
why
skin
she's a
hanging
mean girl
here.
now, because she's feeling herself. She's like, look at me.
But you would think that you would
But-
be happy because you lost weight or
But
whatever.
also, you'll be nicer to people because you know
Yeah.
how it felt to be overweight.
But it just seemed like her and Micah were just a bunch of mean girls. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying?
And I
And
didn't
then
find Micah to be that cute either.
Micah's not cute.
I
Actually.
didn't find her to be cute either, actually.
I just thought it was very odd that he would go for Irene. Irene's the one who I trust.
And
But
I
it was your
think-
birthday and she tried to lie.
Yes.
She tried to gaslight Bliss into giving her a candle or a cupcake after she had forgotten about his birthday.
I know.
And then she was like, well, I forgot about your birthday. But Bliss made you cupcakes and everything, but you
I
decided to
know.
go with Irene. It just shows that maybe Zach has some healing he needs to do because
Yeah,
he was
well,
still
he
very
was-
emotional about his mother being a stripper or something.
Yeah, but the thing is, Irene is like, I'll accept you how you are, whether you're short, fat, whatever, I accept you how you are. That's what she is saying. I felt like the whole time Irina was there, I didn't feel like Irina was looking for love.
No.
I don't think she was taking the process
she was
seriously.
too much in everyone else's
Because
business.
even when Zach was talking and saying some of the emotional things, Irina will be laughing. On the other side,
Mhm.
she wouldn't laugh loud for him to hear her. But I just didn't feel like she was even into this whole experiment. I really didn't.
I just didn't know how Zach trusted her. I guess because she was the first person he told that
Well,
his
she's
mom
the-
was a stripper.
I guess. Well, she was the one who said she'll accept him however he is or whatever. Now, Bliss, on the other hand, said that my father will never think anybody's good enough for me. That's what Bliss said.
I feel like that's how all fathers are.
But he took it like, I had other girlfriends whose fathers did not like me or did not like me because of my upbringing.
Right.
So once Bliss said that, it was an out for him because he doesn't want to go through that again.
Yeah.
But Zach, the thing is, not because Irina says she accepts everybody, that doesn't mean her parents don't accept you.
And you know, also just to me, just because she says that,
Yeah.
doesn't mean that she actually means that. To me, it seemed like she
Yeah.
really did not care for him.
I
And I
didn't
feel like the
think
fact
so.
that she forgot his birthday when you have a journal where you can write it down just
Yeah.
shows to me her carelessness. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I just felt like it was odd that he chose her.
Yeah.
And then it's like also when they went out to go to the engagement, I feel like he looked at her and he felt bamboozled. He felt shocked, and he also probably felt disgusted
I
with
didn't
himself.
think
And
he
it seemed
was-
like he had regrets.
Yes.
And then, of course, I'm
the
sure
way
she could
he
see
looked at
that.
her was like,
Oh my God.
and he was
Like, he looked so off. Like, it just, and see, it was really, we watched that about six times.
You look like a cartoon character. Yes, you look like you have a blank stare on your face. And
He's
moved
like,
back,
and he was
"Don't
like,
touch me."
I know.
Hmm.
As he just stared at her like, like, that's how he was looking. Like,
I was thinking-
it was embarrassing. It was actually
I was
embarrassing.
thinking to myself, is he thinking what I was thinking too? And he's like, are they not telling us like these
The
kinds
truth?
of things?
Yeah.
Remember that time when the guy got engaged? I can't remember. It was a Love
He was
is
on
Blind.
Love is Blind. He was
And he talked about how
bisexual.
he's bisexual.
Oh, and he
And-
threw a drink in her face, I believe, because she was upset that he was bi. We were in the pod. You didn't tell me this the whole time. Now you want me to come out here and accept you? No, I don't want a man who goes both
And
ways.
lies.
And I have to be
I
looking.
don't.
I mean, who
don't,
would
period.
like? I mean, really, if that's what she doesn't want, that's not what she
Doesn't
doesn't
want.
want.
And you didn't tell her.
And then you threw
on
a drink in her
purpose.
face because you knew she would leave you if you said that.
Yeah.
I mean, if you know she will leave you, then why do you want to be with somebody who won't accept you fully? Why lie and wait?
Wait, was he the one who threw the drink or she threw the drink in his face?
No, he threw the drink because I remember him
Wow.
having a temper tantrum and him walking off,
Wow. Hot mess.
and she was just there in shock.
Yeah. And you know that's like an assault. Wow.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
and then of course I think she felt like, okay, he's not attracted to me, so she immediately felt awkward.
Mm-hmm.
And then she seemed
Because
like
she
she was
can
like, well,
see
you
it.
look like a cartoon character.
Yeah.
So she decided to start insulting him.
Exactly.
And it went over his head because he's still trying to figure out
was
what's
still in
happening.
shock.
He was still in shock.
Yeah.
And she proceeded to continue to emotionally abuse him throughout the relationship, which we'll get into that on episode 4 and 5.
Boy. But
So
like Chelsea, Kwame goes. Kwame starts talking to one of the guys, Jack. You know,
After
and
Micah
Jack.
has dumped him.
I'm sorry, did you all see that? Jack was not buying what Kwame was selling. He's
No.
like, oh, I love Chelsea. I mean, she's my person. She's been awesome. He's like, Chelsea? Really?
Well, I think they were all making fun of him because they could obviously see that Paul had snapped Micah
Yeah.
over Kwame. They were
Mhm.
quite happy for their brother.
Mhm.
you got the southern pants on, boy.
I know, right? You can see them. They seem very happy, like, yay.
Man, Kwame was there all awkwardly trying to toast. They're like, man, just get out of here. We know you ain't happy. Cheers, Paul. Cheers. Paul just looked like a dodo bird there trying to cheers that man when you know that you really wanted Micah.
I wonder, maybe, I don't know, maybe they do like Kwame like that.
No.
Because even Marshall was there too. Toasted too. Look, give Paul a big hug. And I was like, okay.
But I mean, Chelsea and Kwame, I don't think it's going to work with them. I mean, I felt like Kwame was kind of leading with sex with Chelsea, where with Micah, it seemed like he was a little bit back off with that. Like,
Well-
they were talking about soul sex, and I want my hands all over your body because my soul is all over your soul. You know?
And then because she kind of led with it a little bit, and then I think she wanted him to know too, but I want marriage, though, you know?
I must
Like,
say
it's
this.
not just about the sex, but it's about the marriage. And he's like, oh, yeah.
Listen, the men in Africa, they are the sweetest talkers here.
Oh,
They
the talker,
talk
yeah.
so
Oh, yeah.
sweetly. They'll tell you everything that you want to hear. Most of the time, it might not even be true.
And it is.
But bull jive, okay? They're very sweet talkers, but I mean, their actions
I had
sometimes
to
will
tell
match
you
up.
that.
Yeah, she had to tell me that because I was like, Mom,
I said, baby, do not fall for stuff up in here in these streets.
yeah, she told me that.
Mom, please. They're just really awesome. And, I said, girl, you have not lived here. You don't know these people. I said,
Yeah.
you don't know these people, okay? I
Yeah.
had a friend of mine. Well, he happened to be from Nigeria. But that does not mean it's only Nigeria. There's a whole lot of them, okay?
Even here
But
in Tanzania,
this man
okay?
will, in fact, you know something? I love romance novels. I've said this before. And I will, we used to actually exchange romance novels. This man be reading romance novel to find out
What
how
they're
to,
saying.
get to the woman, things to say.
Mm-hmm.
Let me tell you, African man, he is not afraid of going to find information to get what he needs to get. If
And
that
he's-
means I'm going to read some romance novels, yes, I will.
And he's not ashamed to grovel either for your love.
Mm-mm.
Okay? So, just beware.
They will get on their knees, okay? They do not care.
There's no shame.
And no, not all of them, but you know.
Yeah. But yeah, let's go. But yeah, that soul sex thing was a mess. But yeah, so let's talk about Jacqueline and Marshall and Josh.
Yes.
Jacqueline was in between Josh and Marshall. It seemed like to me Marshall was a really good fit for her. She said she likes Marshall and his
Yeah, the
swagger
vibe
and everything, the
and all that.
vibe.
Yeah,
It seemed like they would be a good match.
yeah.
Um,
And then Josh, of course, I guess maybe made the mistake of saying, "If you don't choose me, I'm leaving."
which I thought was emotionally manipulative.
Well, and Marshall thought so too.
Yeah. So he was like, "You want me to help you pack? Cause I'll help you," and all that stuff. And which
Yeah.
to me, I don't know, was it? I think maybe it was a little bit of a yellow flag.
Yeah, because he got really upset.
He got really upset. That's
I
what it
didn't know he
seemed
had a
like.
temper like that.
Yeah, I didn't either. I thought it was quite interesting.
Yeah, and I didn't
but
know what the big deal was anyways. I mean, so what if he said that?
I know, but then it's like it looked like he was ready to propose that day. And all because he had told her that he loves her. She didn't say it back. So she started telling him, well, he said he's gonna pack up and leave, so he's feeling like, oh well, you're infringing on my connection. I
Okay.
felt like it was a little bit of a yellow flag for me because I felt like you should, as a man, I feel like you should probably just be calmer. I feel like if that was Zach and Tasha, Zach and Tasha from Bachelor,
I remember.
I feel like
Bachelorette.
Zach would have just let her feel it out and then make her decision because he would have had confidence in himself. Like, if that's who you choose, that's who you choose.
Yeah.
But I want you to go through everything so that when we come together, you know it's me and you don't have any regrets.
Got you.
You know, so I just felt like the way Zach handled Tasha and Bachelor was more of a manly approach.
Yeah.
I felt like him getting all upset, I just felt like it wasn't necessary.
I know,
you know
but
what I'm saying?
people are dating each other, so
Like,
I don't
you know that,
understand.
so-
It's even also Ready to Love, like Morgan and Tony.
I know.
Like,
Tony,
yeah.
I just thought it
I
was
got
odd.
you. Okay, got
So
you.
that's what I felt. Because,
Yeah.
I mean, like, I wouldn't want my, like, I mean, I totally get how she wants a man who tells her, I guess, puts her, like, I feel like some women like that. Put me in my place, tell me what to do. I mean, that's cute for maybe one or two occasions, but there's going to be a time where you get sick and tired of him telling you what to do and putting you in your place, and then you going to snap. So I just feel like I kind of appreciate a man who's kind of like Zach, who's like confident, and he
Yeah.
kind of lets his woman do his own thing.
Yeah,
Because he understands that she's an individual and she
Yeah.
has to make the right choice for her.
exactly. Especially
Because-
if you're on this dating show.
I know because Marshall basically told her, well, listen, it's you and me, it's over, we're packing it up. I mean,
Yeah.
isn't that how he basically said it? And we
Yeah.
never saw if she told Josh anything.
Yeah, we didn't. We didn't. So
Yeah, so
that
I
was a
mean,
wrap.
I know, but then my thing is like, does she start having regrets? Because she did say that Marshall actually is not her type. She usually goes for the 6'5" guys with long hair and tattoos.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, that's kind of like my type as well, but I feel like sometimes it's not necessary. Sometimes you have to go for the right guy that's good for you. Do I know if Marshall's good for her? I don't know.
I don't even know if she's good for him either.
Yeah, it just seems like she's a little unstable.
So we will see how
Yeah.
that's looking in the next whatever. But yeah,
Episodes
they met
4 to
each
5.
other. Micah met what's his name? Paul.
Yes,
Thought that he was handsome.
right.
Yeah, we always talking about Zach at the other end. Of course, Brett and Tiffany, they liked each other. So
Yeah,
Yeah, we
I felt
will
bad
see.
for Zach because he feels bamboozled.
yeah,
Which is
I'll feel
understandable.
bamboozled too.
Yeah.
But let's see how the next episodes will show. Oh, it flies today.
I know. But it's Mary.
And I'm
Maybe I try to like,
share,
subscribe
and comment
down below.
Bye.